Hello everyone, today I'm working on this very nice BL-2. It came with a super nice box actually. I'm keeping that box, I love it. And it used to be something of an Amtrak locomotive. It doesn't really say, but I really like this box. And it's complete with the two horns and all the handrails are there. Now, somebody mentioned that they thought that the BL stood for bad looking. And again, that's a question of opinion. However, this engine, it's had a funky paint job applied to it. So we are going to repaint this today. So the first thing I gotta do is take the shell off and remove all the headlight and the windows. Actually, that window got a little bit of paint there too. So I may have to do a bit more work than I thought on this. Well, there's no point in complaining. Just getting to work is going to get me where I want. So these, even though I keep saying they won't put Bachmann out of business, these run okay. I actually buy these because I think they run kind of okay. So as you remove your shell, be careful not to break the little coupler pass through here. And these have these, whoa, they have these really big heavy weights. Look at that, they put the light in the middle. I forgot about that. They put the light in the middle and there's a light piping that brings it to each end. Maybe the front one's gone. I did buy it used and I did pay okay money for that. You know what, maybe I'll go, maybe I'll just leave it like that. That's going to be okay. So then the drive looks good upon first look. Looks pretty good. It's just cosmetically we have a lot of work to do on this. So I'm going to see about how easy or how hard it is to remove all the windows. So unlike Kato, these are glued in. All the Kato stuff, everything just snaps into place. So that is really good. Really makes it easy if you want to go back and work on the engine again. Same for this light piping, it might be hard to get out. Actually, no, it's going to be very easy. Surprisingly easy. I wish I had another LED piping like this for the light piping like this for the front. But I guess I'll have to live with that. And then I'm going to put this to remove the old paint. I use brake fluids. I'm going to put this in the brake fluid for a little bit. And then we'll see what we get. We'll see where we're at. So I did not leave it in the brake fluid for very long, just one day, and already the stuff is coming out. So I remove it with a toothpick. It seems to be a nice paint job under there. So I'm going to keep working on this off camera. I had to put the shell in the brake fluid for another day. So in the meantime, I'm going to work on my drive. And this seems to be in okay shape. I'm going to see, let's go see how it runs. So all the couplers are on and all the horn and handrails were there. So it looked like it was taken care of. Maybe it runs good already. Let's find out. So it needs a little wheel cleaning. That's for sure. But I think it runs okay. Definitely needs some wheel cleaning. I'm gonna let it warm up for a second and then we'll see where we're at. So something's binding somewhere. I'm gonna take it apart and put it back together. Usually that solves that. So how to take these apart? Obviously remove the weights. And these worm gears are usually really good. There's a lot of lubrication on there already. It's just oozing out. So for sure it doesn't need more. So to remove the trucks, you have to push this little pin. Push this little pin down. And that will release your trucks. That seems a little bit stiff. Oh, you know what I've done before? I've taken the little gear that's on this pin. This little gear, I have taken it out. And you definitely don't want to pull too hard on these because they're welded in here. And I don't especially feel like redoing these welds. So you don't want to pull too hard on them. But this little gear here, I remember one time I took a very small drill and I just opened it up just a tiny little bit, and that seemed to help. So I'm going to remove the side frame. You just have to pry under here and it'll loosen it up. And then once it's loose, you can wiggle it around just a little bit, pass it over here, and then you remove your side frames. Well, there's a little bit of lint on here. That I can definitely get rid of that. I don't like that at all. And then get rid of all this hair. And then we can remove the wheels. Just pry on them very gently. Just like so. There, and we can spread apart the gearbox if we want. Get the little gears out. Just like so. Then I can get this gear out. So they will get cleaned. And then I got two little idlers. These two little idlers, they come out. And this is the bigger gear that's on the that's the bigger gear that's on. Well, you can see how dirty it is. That is not pretty. That's on the shaft, so I might spread this one out a little bit. Get my other little idler down here. So then I can clean that before I reassemble everything. So I take a 1/16 drill, which is close to the dimension of my little shaft. And then I'll open up this gear. And I don't work too hard at it, but just a little bit. That should make the engine run smoother. So I only take out just a tiny little amount, and that's it. That should be good. Then I'll put everything back together. I just cleaned them with my rag. So I'll start with the big gear. And then when I'm happy with that, I'll bring in the two little idlers. line them up off camera because it takes a little bit of attention. Then my two axles can go back in. Then I will make sure that my wheels are thoroughly cleaned. That is the most important part because you saw before it was running okay. You can see some wear on there, which is good. I'm glad somebody else enjoyed that engine for a while. And then I'll do the other three off camera. Then I put the wheels back on, and I've got my my trusty Macro Trains height gauge handy, and we're gonna check the gauge as we put them together. So that I will put them maybe just a little bit narrower because it gives them a chance to wiggle about. Which is good. And this is good. Excellent. There's no need to re-lubricate this because it's got plenty of lubrication already. So I'm just going to put the side frame back on, and then I will do the other side off camera. And don't forget to reinsert this pin. I'm pretty sure you need that. I'll line it up so that it's 100%. There. Now I'm going to test it on the bench and then we'll go on the track. So far so good. I'm going to be painting this for Bangor and Aroostook. So I still have my two F units. I really like them actually. That was a good project. So it runs much better now. Still makes a little bit of noise though. It still makes a little bit of noise, but that's going to be acceptable. You neutralize the brake fluid with water. Doing this, you notice all the very little details. This shell is pretty detailed. I can't complain too much about it. I got most of the paint off, and now I'm setting up to be painted. I'm going to wait for this to be dry thoroughly before I get the painting. All the handrails are there. Usually I don't paint them with the handrails, but this time I will. I can't get these little ones on the corners here. I can't get them out, so I'm going to leave them in. Same with the horns. The windows came out perfect, so that's a big help. So I'm going to put back this front handrail. I'm going to put it back on, and I'm going to get ready for painting. This is what I'm doing more and more when I paint engines, I'll take a small piece of cardboard and two pieces of Scotch tape, and I'll just stick it in there. And that, it will hold my shell. I got a lot of flexibility if I want to paint underneath it. And then I put that in my two clips, and I'm good. So as you paint, you want to come in with very, very thin droplets, like so. And then as your droplets come together, basically you want to just leave it. As soon as it looks shiny again, you just leave it. And then once you have it looking shiny, that's it. You just leave it. So that came back from the paint shop, very shiny. Turned out pretty good. Very pleased with that. So now we're ready for some decals. If you want to see some really cool pictures, go to Railway Pictures, picturearchives.net. They have a lot of really cool pictures, just about anything. So get yourself, before you put on the decals, get yourself a picture of the actual engine. So we're going to do number 51, and I have a picture for that handy. So that takes 2 hands, believe it or not. So I'm going to keep placing this. My paint has only had 1 day to dry, so it's still got a little bit of thinner in it, although it may feel dry to the touch. It still has a little bit of thinner in it, so that will help my decals to bond with the paint. And also I'm going to use microsol. That also helps it bond. A little bit of decals sure makes all the difference. So that's it. If you're a beginner, you're done. And if you want to go one step further, you could give it a coat of dull coat. So that's what I'm going to do. With the dull coat, it looks much more professional. I'm glad I spent a little bit of extra time on this. Really looks good. All that's left to do is put the shell back on the drive. I put the window and the light piping separately. And then I just have to snap this over. Nice and easy. Don't forget to pass the coupler through the little pocket. And then spread out the shell just a little bit. And it snaps right in. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.